This conference will now be recorded.
Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope all are doing well. I'm Anita from ECE Department of Loyola Institute of Technology. I welcome you all for this wonderful webinar on application and boundary condition for electromagnetic fields. Prayer is simply a two-way conversation between you and God. And God does nothing but by prayer and everything with it. Prayer should be the key of the day and the lock of the night. Now I call upon Ajay and Akash to lead us with a word of prayer. Over to you, Ajay.
Today's Bible reading is taken from the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verses 12 to 18. Blessed is the one who finds wisdom, and the one who gets understanding. For the gain from her is better than gain from silver, and her profit better than gold. She is more precious than jewels, and nothing you desire can compare with her. Long life in her right hand, in her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Over to you, Akash.
God's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Over to you, Anita.
Thank you, Ajay and Akash. We would like to extend a special welcome to the speaker of the day. Now I call upon Ms. Jeevita to deliver the welcome address. Over to you, Jeevita.
Thank you, Anita. Good afternoon to everyone gathered here. I hope everyone is safe and doing good. It's my pleasure to extend a cheerful welcome to you all, and on behalf of Loyola Institute of Technology, Management, Administrator, Principal Dr. Sujata Anand, Vice Principal and HOD of ECE Department, Dr. L. Nalini Joseph Ma'am. We wholeheartedly welcome all the participants for this webinar. On behalf of the department, we, the student coordinators, welcome our speaker of today's session, Dr. M. Sivarathina Bala, Associate Professor, Department of ECE in Velammal Institute of Technology, Chennai. It's my pleasure to extend a cheerful welcome to you, ma'am. Your presence makes us very happy. I am sure we will be able to enrich our knowledge by this webinar on applications and boundary conditions for electromagnetic field. Thank you, ma'am, for accepting our invitation even in your busy schedule. We welcome you wholeheartedly for the webinar. In this context, I welcome all the coordinators of this webinar, faculty members of ECE department, and professional friends to make this happen. Dear participants, once again, I welcome you all for this wonderful technical day. Thank you. Over to you, Anita.
Thank you, Jeevita. May I call upon Mr. Dinesh of ECE Department to introduce our speaker. Over to you, Dinesh.
Thank you, Anita. A very glad welcome to one and all gathered here. I am Dinesh Kumar, and it gives me immense pleasure to introduce our resource person, Dr. M. Sivaratana Bala, Associate Professor at Velammal Institute of Technology, Chennai. She has been teaching in electronic and communication field since 2007. She received a doctorate from College of Engineering, Gindi, Anna University, Chennai. Her area of research interest includes computer vision, image and video processing. She has published 25 international journals, 30 national and international conference papers, and 2 patents. She received Best Researcher Award, Best Teacher Award, and SEEE Award from international agencies. She is a member of IEEE Imagine Processing Society, and now she is with us to make the session most interesting and knowledgeable. Thank you, ma'am, for accepting our invitation and giving your precious time for us. We gladly welcome you, ma'am. Over to you, Anita.
Thank you, Dinesh. The struggle you are in today is developing the strength you need for tomorrow, and there are no shortcut to any place worth going. In our most awaited session of the day, let us go to enhance our knowledge in electromagnetic fields. I request Dr. M. Sivarathinabala, Associate Professor, Department of ECE, Velammal Institute of Technology, Chennai. Over to you, ma'am.
A very good afternoon to you all. First of all, I would like to thank the principal, Dr. Sujata Anand ma'am, and the convener, Dr. L. Nalini Joseph ma'am, administrator and coordinators of this event for giving me this opportunity to share my subject ideas with the dear students. Thank you, Jeevita and Dinesh Kumar, for the introduction. And today I plan to give the seminar lecture about boundary conditions for electric and magnetic fields and the applications of the electrostatics. Whether my screen is visible?
Yes, madam. Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Okay. The today topic is the applications and the boundary conditions for electromagnetic fields. And I planned my lecture today in this way. First thing is boundary conditions for electric fields, and the second thing is boundary conditions for magnetic fields, and the third one is Maxwell's equations and the applications of electrostatics. And first thing, boundary conditions in the electric and magnetic fields. For this, a small picture I have given here. In this picture we are seeing some two cartoons activities. Okay, some two cartoons, and one is doing some unwanted activity, twink, and another next picture, second picture, and one cartoon is biting the another cartoon. Okay, and the third picture is sometimes you have to cross the boundary to know where it is. Okay, we should know the boundary, then only if we are crossing, okay, sometimes we have to cross the boundary, then only where it is we know. Okay, for this I have given this picture for the boundary. And the next thing is boundary conditions. Here why we need to go for boundary conditions. Okay, when an electric field or the magnetic field, okay, it passes from one medium to another medium. Why it is passing from one medium to another medium, why we need to study these boundary conditions. It is important that the boundary between the two media we should understand first of all, then only when it crosses the medium we should conditions, what are all the conditions existing at the boundary between the two media we can understand. Okay, for that we are having the following boundary conditions: dielectric interface, conductor and dielectric interface, conductor and free space. And these are all the three different boundary conditions. And the first boundary conditions is dielectric boundary conditions. Here we are considering two dielectrics. Okay, the medium 1, here is the medium 1 and this is your medium 2. And in the medium 1 we having a different permittivity, and in the medium 2 it is having the different permittivity. Okay, this is epsilon 1 and this is epsilon 2. And in the epsilon 1 we are having the epsilon 1, what is epsilon r, epsilon naught into epsilon r, that is your permittivity. What is permittivity? Epsilon is equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r. Here for the medium 1, so here we are putting epsilon 1. Epsilon 1 is equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r1. And in the medium 2, epsilon 2 is equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r2. Okay, here we need to find out the tangential component and the normal component. Okay, first thing, it is whenever the electric field here is decomposed into tangential component and the normal component, so we need to differentiate those two things. Here this is the medium separations. Okay, the above medium is dielectric 1 and below is dielectric 2. So here the E1T, that is the tangential component of the first field E1T, and this is your E2T, this is your tangential component in the electric field in the area 2. okay, in the second dielectrics. So E1n, it's a normal component, okay, tangential component, and this is a normal component for the first dielectric field, and this is for E2n for the dielectric component 2, for the dielectric component 2, that is the normal component E2n, okay. For now we are going to find out the tangential component. Tangential component we have to find out means we have to take the closed loop, okay. This is your Et1, and this is your E1t and E2t, and we are going to find out the closed loop, okay. In that closed loop, A, B, C, D and D to A to B, B to C, C to D and D to A. This is one of the closed loop. In this closed loop, what is the height we have taken? That is the width and length. Length is del W, and what is this height is del H. And in the next slide, we are taking the fields of the two media can be expressed as, we know that E1, the electric field in the dielectric field 1, okay, in the dielectric 1 is E1. E1 is equal to E1t plus E1n. What is the electric field in the tangential component and the normal component? E2 vector is equal to E2t plus E vector 2n, okay, tangential component plus the normal component. Here we are applying the equation. We know this equation, right? Maxwell's equations, integral, closed integral, that is E vector dot dl over L, okay, into E vector dot dl is equal to 0 to the path ABCD in the figure. Here ABCD is the closed path. In this figure we are applying this equation E vector dot dl. So E vector dot dl for the area, what is the length ABCDA, for this closed loop we are applying E dot dl, that is equal to E1t del W. See here, what is E1t? E1t in this E1t in this direction. So E1t AB direction, what is your del W, okay. Here length is del W. So AB direction, length is del W. So we can write this as E1t del W minus E1n del H by 2. Why we are writing del H by 2? See here, in this dielectric 1 field we will be having del H by 2, and in the dielectric 2 part we will be having del H by 2, okay. The total height is del H. So now we are separating into field 1 and dielectric 2. So dielectric 1 means del H by 2 and dielectric 2 is del H by 2. So we are writing, how we are writing? E1n, okay, normal component only in this upper portion only. So here alone del H by 2, E1n. That is in the here B to C only we know, but E1n it is going in the opposite direction. So we are taking it as minus, okay, minus E1n del H by 2, okay. And next thing is minus E2n. See here, what is this? Here also 2n here, minus 2n del H by 2. And then come here C to D. C to D, what is that? Del W, that is E2t. Okay, E2t, that is in the opposite direction only. This is in this direction E2t, but C to D will be in the opposite direction. So minus E2t into del W. Is it correct? Minus E2t into del W plus, what is the next thing? Sorry, one second. Next thing is D to A. In that we are having del H by 2 and del H by 2. Okay, here del H by 2 is E2n. Okay, E2n half the field, and next thing is E1. Sorry, what is that? E1n. E1n we have completed. We have completed E1t, E1n we have completed, E2n, E2t and E2n plus E1n. Okay, we are doing all those things with del H by 2. So we are writing, cancelling each terms, we will get E1t del W minus E2T del W equal to 0. Okay, remaining all the things will get cancel each other and you will be getting E1T del W minus E2T del W equal to 0. So we can write this as E1T is equal to E2T. So the tangential component, see here E1T is equal to E2T. So the tangential component of the E vector are equal at the boundary. At the boundary, what will be happening? The tangential components will be equal. And so we can tell this tangential component undergoes no change on the boundary as it is continuous across the boundary. Okay, it is continuous across the boundary, so there will be no change in the boundary. And the next thing is we are going for normal component. What is that? D. We know already, we know that what is the term EBDH. Always we electromagnetic field, if you are studying electromagnetic fields, we should know all these four terms. What is E? Anyone answer me? What is E vector? E vector is your electric field intensity and D vector is your electric flux density and B vector is your magnetic. Any answers from your side?
Magnetic field intensity, ma'am.
Magnetic field intensity is H vector or B vector?
It is B vector, ma'am. Magnetic field intensity is B
B
vector.
vector is? Give me the correct answer. H is the magnetic field intensity and B is your flux. Is continuous across the boundary and in the tangential component of D vector is discontinuous across the boundary. So next thing is the first tangential component is completed. Then we are coming for normal component. After finishing our normal component only, the electric field can be electric field boundary conditions is E vector is equal to E1T plus E1N. Okay, normal component plus tangential component. So we are going to find out the normal component. Second thing, for finding out this normal component, we are applying Gauss law on the small pillbox. Always we will be used to solve the tangential component in the rectangular closed loop. Okay, that is for tangential component. And for the normal component, we will be using the small pillbox, that is the spherical shaped small pillbox, and we are applying Gauss law to find out the normal components. Okay, and here d dot ds, we are integrating the surface integral closed path. The surface integral of d vector dot ds vector is equal to q, that is the total charge enclosed, that is your Gauss law. Okay, d1n and dot del s. Okay, this is the thing, this is the diagram. What is the diagram? This is a small pillbox that is a spherical shaped, and here what is del s? Del s is the small differential surface area, and this is your height of the box del h. So we can take this as for the normal component d1n will be del h by 2 and the 2n will be normal component will be 2n will be del h by 2. Okay, and this is in the dielectric field 1 and this is for the dielectric field 2. Okay, so here what is written? ds, differential surface area, d1n into del s minus d2n into del s, that is equal to del q. Okay, here we are assuming del h tends to 0. So in the figure we are assuming this del h tends to 0. So this del H will be very small. So we are neglecting only this del S we are considering. Okay, so we are getting this equation d1n minus d2n is equal to rho S. Okay, rho S into del S. Here also one del S will be there. Del S getting cancelled, and we can write this as d1n minus d2n is equal to rho S. Okay, this is your what is that? Normal component. Yes, d1n is equal to d2n minus d2n is equal to rho S. And the next thing is, if the no free charge exists at the boundary. So if there is a charge, means we will be having the rho S. Rho S is the surface charge density. Okay, surface charge density rho S. If there is no charge, means rho S will become 0. So if the rho S becomes 0, means you will be getting what is the thing, d1n is equal to d2n. That is given us here, d1n is equal to d2n. And the normal components of the d vector are equal at the boundary. So here dn vector undergoes no change on the boundary, as it is continuous across the boundary. d1n is equal to d2n. So we can write how d is equal to epsilon into e. So we can write epsilon 1 e1n, that is equal to epsilon 2 e2n. So we can write E1n by E2n is equal to epsilon 2 by epsilon 1. This is the normal component of D vector undergoes some change across the boundary. So it is said to be discontinuous across the boundary. Okay, but D vector is discontinuous across the boundary. So what is there in the tangential component? In the tangential component, E vector is E tan is equal to E tan 1 is equal to E tan 2. And in the normal component is dn is discontinuous across the boundary. Okay, and dielectric to dielectric boundary conditions. Here the law of refraction is we have defined angle theta 1 and theta 2. Okay, the E2 E1 is the electric field, that is E2 is the electric field that is from the region 2. Okay, dielectric region 2, it is incidence and it is refracted. E1 is refracted, getting refracted. So we are writing this equation as how we are writing E1t from the boundary conditions. We know that E1t is equal to E2t. So we can write this E1t. How we can write? By sine theta. Here E1t tangential component and normal component. So here E1t can be written as E1. What is that sine? Theta 1. Okay. That E2t, where it is? E2t means here in the electric field E2, this is your tangential component and this is your normal component. This is your tangential component and this is your normal component, and same way this is your tangential component and this is your normal component. So to in terms of theta, what is that? E theta 1, and so here E 2t E1 sine is equal to in terms of theta 2. So E, okay, E2 sine theta 2. So we are writing this as equation 1. And the next thing, d1n is equal to d2n. We know this from the boundary conditions. So from these equations, where is d1? So here d1 and d1n, d1t. Okay, tangential, and here also tangential. So here also tangential and normal, tangential and normal. So for this we are writing it with respect to theta 1 and theta 2. Here what will be the case? Theta 1 and theta 2 will be cos. Okay, d1 cos theta 1 and d2 cos theta 2. So here d1 we are substituting epsilon into e. So epsilon 1 e1. So here d2 is substituted as epsilon 2 into e2. So we are dividing this equation 1 by 2. So we are getting this tan theta 1 by tan theta 2 is equal to epsilon r1 by epsilon r2. Epsilon r1 by epsilon r2, this is called as law of refraction. And the next thing is conductor dielectric boundary conditions. In the first thing we have seen dielectric boundary conditions. So both the things, both the field were the dielectric field. But now here we are doing the next conditions. Conductor in the first field and dielectric in the second field. Okay, conductor is E vector is equal to 0 and epsilon is equal to some value will be there for the dielectric. Okay, see here what is that, ma'am? The slide is not slide is moving automatically. Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
the slide,
Yes, ma'am.
the
Yes,
slide
ma'am.
is moving automatically, ma'am. Whether anything to control?
You can only control your PPT, ma'am. Others cannot do anything, ma'am.
Okay. Okay,
மேம்
sir.
அது
Okay.
போட்டுட்டீங்க ஸ்லைட் ஷோல மோட்ல போட்டிருக்கீங்களா மேம்?
Yes, ma'am.
அதான் அப்ப வந்து அந்த டைம் ரிகர்சல் டைம் எடுத்து விட்டுருங்க மேம். எடுத்து விட்டீங்கன்னா ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா நீங்க மட்டும் மூவ் பண்ணா ஸ்லைட் மூவ் ஆகும்.
Okay, ma'am.
சம்டைம்ஸ் இட் ஹேப்பன்ஸ் லைக் தட். அதுவே 2 minutes ஒன்ஸ் அப்படியே பண்றோம் பாருங்க.
Okay. Here I am moving the slide, ma'am, but in the window it is not moving.
ஜம்ப் ஆகுதா மேம்? இப்போ எந்த ஸ்லைட்ல இருக்கீங்க நீங்க? ஸ்லைட் நம்பர் 11 ரைட்?
Tan theta 1 law of refraction ல இருக்கேன் மேம். Dielectric to dielectric boundary conditions.
கரெக்டா தான் மேம் இருக்கு. tan theta 1 by tan theta 2 is equal to epsilon r1.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Now it is correct, ma'am. Thank you, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
And the second thing is conductor and dielectric boundary conditions. Here, first field is your dielectric field and the second field is your conductor field. Here also we are going to find out the tangential component and the normal component for finding out this electric field. Okay, for electric field E vector is equal to what is that component? ET component plus EN component. So here also for finding out this tangential component, we are taking the rectangular closed loop. Okay, that is the closed loop is A to B, B to C, and C to D, and D to A. Okay. Okay, see here, this is the closed loop A to B, B to C, and C to D, and D to A. And here also the same thing. What is del W? The length and width is del W and del H is taken. So for the what is E tangential, we are going to write EDL vector. Okay, the interface between the perfect conductor and the dielectric. It is shown in the previous slide. And here we are applying integral E dot dl is equal to 0. Here the area is A, B, C, D, A. That is the closed loop. Okay. So here Et del W. The same way we have written, right? E tangential. What is that E tangential in this direction? A, B. A to B. A to B, that is del W. And next thing is what is E normal? See here this way E normal is del H by 2, and see here del H by 2. Okay, here del H by 2, and in this part B to C, in the first half dielectric to the conductor boundary is del H by 2, and the next part is next boundary conditions to next C part we will be having del H by 2. Okay, so you will be writing this equation like this. What is the equation? Yes, see here E T del W minus E N del H by 2 minus 0 into del H by 2. So there is no component. 0 into del H by 2 Only for the dielectric we will be having, okay, and in the conductor we are not having, so 0 0 0. So now we are writing del Et del W equal to 0. So Et equal to 0, dt equal to 0. So how we can write this? Dt equal to epsilon r. So dt equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r. So Et equal to 0, okay, and the boundary conditions for the normal components are obtained by applying the Gauss law. But for Gauss law, we will be taking the pillbox, okay, that is the pillbox will be small pillbox shaped volume as in the figure, okay. So here we will be writing surface integral of closed surface integral d vector dot ds equal to q. So dn into del s minus 0 into del s, that is equal to only thing, what is the del q. Del q is, so here also we are assuming del h equal to 0, and we are assuming del h equal to 0, so we are getting dn is equal to del q by del s, and that is equal to rho s, okay. And the next slide is conductor to dielectric boundary conditions. Here no electric field exists inside the perfect conductor. Only in the external electric field only, if any, is normal to the conductor. So it is given by dn is equal to rho s. Okay, then conductor under free space boundary conditions. So here this is a special case of the conductor dielectric conditions. It can be obtained by replacing epsilon r is equal to 1. That is the only thing we are going to do here. First thing is, if you can do conductor under free space, and in the last thing, the dielectric boundary conditions, you can put epsilon naught epsilon r, okay, or otherwise you can solve the dielectric conditions first thing, and in the last we can solve conductor under free space. There we have solved epsilon equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r. That epsilon r permittivity value will be different for the different dielectrics, okay. Dielectric 1, there will be different permittivity value epsilon r, and a different epsilon r value for the dielectric 2. But here what is having, epsilon r is equal to 1 in the equation. So what is that? Dn, and what is dn? Dn is equal to, what is dn equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r, that is equal to epsilon r into en, that is equal to rho s. So here epsilon r is equal to 1. So we are putting epsilon r is equal to 1 means that is equal to rho s. So as in the earlier case, we will be writing dt is equal to epsilon naught epsilon r et is equal to 0. So we are writing epsilon naught into et is equal to 0. So we are writing epsilon r is equal to 1, okay. So we are getting dn and dt. So in the conductor under free space boundary, in this way we will be having dn, what is e and d, okay. In the conductor side there is be no electric field exists, only in the free space the electric field will be existing. And the next is magnetic boundary conditions. Magnetic boundary conditions, no need to worry about this. If we are solving the electric boundary conditions, the same thing will be we are going to do in the magnetic boundary conditions. Only thing we need to change the terms. What is the terms? Etan and dn normal, okay. Here also, here what we are doing, bt and bn1, okay. What is b1, bt and bn1, okay. So we are finding out this using our, this is our medium 1 and lower side is your medium 2. What we are doing, b1 in the separate medium 1 we will be having the b1, and medium 2 will be having the magnetic field intensity b2. And what we are doing, magnetic field intensity can be written as bt1 tangential component and the normal component, okay. So here we are taking what is the spill box. Spill box, if we are taking means what we are going to do, normal component. If we are going to find out the normal component, we will be taking the spill box. pillbox, and if you are taking the rectangular closed loop means we are going to find out the tangential component. Okay, is it clear? So from this we are going to find out this. Yes, here see here we are boundary conditions between two isotrophic homogeneous linear materials with permeabilities mu1 and mu2. Here we are having the permeabilities mu1 and mu2, and at the boundary what is that magnetic flux density B vector may be decomposed to the normal component B and the tangential component BT. Okay, normal component Bn and the tangential component BT. The magnetic flux density we are going to find out. Then applying Gauss law for the magnetic field. Okay, Gauss law. What is Gauss law? Closed integral surface integral B vector dot ds vector is equal to 0. So here from this previous figure we can write Bn1 into del s minus Bn2 into del s equal to 0. So we can write this as Bn1 equal to Bn2, and Bn1 equal to Bn2 dot what is an vector is a unit normal vector. Okay, the normal component is across the boundary between the two adjacent media. Okay, this is normal component is equal to 0. And the next slide is, so the magnetic boundary conditions. See here, what is that? B2 minus B1 into A dot AN cap. AN cap is the unit normal vector, AN vector. That is equal to B2 minus B1 into 1 dot cos alpha. Here what is we are writing in terms of alpha, that is cos alpha. So Bn1 minus Bn2 is equal to 0. Okay. So the next thing is magnetic boundary conditions. Bn1 is equal to Bn2, that is continuous. So we are writing mu1 mu h. B is equal to mu h. We already know this. B is equal to mu h means mu1 hn1 is equal to mu2 hn2. Okay, here there in the electric field permittivity, and here in the magnetic field permeability. Okay, mu1 and hn1 and mu2 hn2. So we are writing hn1 by hn2 is equal to mu2 by mu1. So we are writing hn2 is equal to mu1 by mu2 into hn1. So we are writing hn2 is equal to, what is the answer? Mu1 by mu2 into hn1. The normal components are not continuous across the boundary. So the normal components becomes continuous only when mu1 is equal to mu2. When it will be continuous? Whenever this mu1 is equal to mu2 means the normal component will be continuous. In case there is no boundary between two materials. Okay, there will be no boundary between two materials means that then it will be continuous. If there is a boundary means it will not be continuous. See here the magnetic boundary conditions for the finding out the tangential component. For yes, so finding out the tangential component, we are taking the closed loop. Okay, closed loop ABCD. What is that? Here we are taking the differential length del L, and we are taking HT1 and HT2. This is the tangential components. Okay, HT1, HT2 are the tangential components. What is given here? Del L1. What is given here? Sorry. Yes, the length is splitted by 2 by 2. Okay, here is length is del L, here del H by 2, del H by 2. So here what is written, and AN is a unit normal vector, and see here HN1 and HT1, it is comprising H1. H1 is comprises of HT1 and HN1. And H2 magnetic field intensity in the medium 2 means HT2 and HN2. So next we are moving to the closed contour. We are moving closed contour across the boundary. Here we are writing the Ampere circuital law for this closed path. What is Ampere circuital law? The closed contour path H vector dot dl vector is equal to I enclosed. Okay, the total current enclosed. So here we are writing from this diagram, that is HT2 del L plus HN2 del H by 2 plus HN1 del H by 2. And if it is in the opposite direction means we will mark it as minus. Okay, minus HT1 into del 1 and minus HN1 del H2 minus HN2 del H by 2, that is equal to Ku into del L. Okay, this is, we are reducing this term, all other terms will be cancelled and reducing this equation to the HT2 del L minus HT1 del L equal to Ku into del L. Okay, the Ku is the component normal to the plane of the closed path. Okay, that is the normal component. HT2 minus HT1 is equal to Ku. Here the tangential component of the H vector is discontinuous across the boundary between two adjacent media. Therefore HT1 minus HT2 minus HT1 is equal to Ku. Okay, in the in the magnetic boundary conditions, what is happening here? Normal component is continuous and tangential component is discontinuous. Okay, that is the thing happening. And see here, the next is yes, HT2 minus HT1 is equal to Ku. Here the above equations written in the vector notation. So we are writing in the vector notation H2 minus H1 vector, H2 vector minus H1 vector cross an cap is equal to K vector. Okay, that is in the vector notation. There Ku written as vector K vector. Here an is the unit normal vector. If both the media is across the boundary and are not conductors, means then K vector is equal to 0. So we can write HT1 minus HT2 is equal to 0. HT1 is equal to HT2. So the tangential component of H vector is continuous across the boundary between the two adjacent media if K vector is equal to 0. Okay. And the next thing is magnetic boundary conditions in the pictorial form. We are writing H2 minus H1 vector dot an cross an vector unit normal vector in terms of alpha sin alpha dot au cap. Okay, so here we are writing au cap is equal to Ku into au cap. Ku vector we know, Ku into au cap, that is equal to K vector. This is for magnetic boundary conditions in the vector form. So here we are writing BT2 by mu2 be equal to BT1 by mu1. So BT2 we are finding out BT2 is equal to mu2 by mu1 BT1. The tangential component of the B is discontinuous across the boundary between two adjacent media if K is equal to 0. K equal to 0 means two tangential component is discontinuous across the boundary. So next thing is law of refraction. Law of refraction in the magnetic boundary conditions. Here B1 is incident to the on the surface, and B2 is incident and B1 is refracted. Okay, B1 is refracted at an angle theta 1. See here, B1 is refracted at an angle theta 1. B2 is incident at an angle, okay, at an angle theta 2. So here, what is the tangential component? BT2 and BN2. It is a normal and tangential component. Here, BT1 and BN1. This is tangential component and the normal component for the B1. Okay. So next thing, how we are writing according to the boundary conditions, we know that BN1 is equal to BN2. And what is BN1? We can write this BN1 as BT1 by mu1 is equal to BT2 by mu2. This is we can write from this previous equations. And so here 2 by 1, second equations divided by first equations, we can get the tan theta 1 by tan theta 2 is equal to mu1 by mu2. Okay, we are solving these equations and we are getting tan theta 1 by tan theta 2 is equal to mu1 by mu2. This is your law of refraction. And next thing, we are going for Maxwell's equations. So see here in the Maxwell's equations, we are having 4 Maxwell's equations. the electrostatics, magnetostatics, electrodynamics, and we are having certain experimental results we are obtained from the experimental results, and from the connections given between the electric field, electric charge, and between the magnetic field and the electric current. Okay, well, these are all the connections we are giving, and the relations obtained and the results obtained from these equations. We are going to derive some new 4 equations. Okay, that is the Maxwell's equations. Here the Maxwell is a scientist. He encapsulated the connection in the form of mathematical expressions. Okay, that mathematical expressions is named as Maxwell's equations. These equations here makes the fundamental postulates of electricity and magnetism. Here they are derived by using the general experimental results, generalization of experimental results. So first law is Gauss law in electrostatics. Okay, electrostatics, in the electrostatics 2 laws, and the magnetostatics 2 laws. Okay, there are, using the laws we are deriving the Maxwell's equations. And see here in the Gauss law, it gives the relationship between the net outward flux, electric flux through the closed surface, and the total electric charge enclosed within it. So here we can write this closed surface integral. Okay, well, closed surface integral E vector dot dA vector is equal to Q by epsilon. That is the outward flux through the closed surface is equal to the total charge enclosed. So it can be written as a closed integral, closed surface integral D vector dot dA is equal to Q. So here rho is the volume charge density. We already know that rho is the volume charge density. How we can write rho V, rho L, line charge density is rho L, surface charge density is rho S, and volume charge density is rho V. Okay, so rho is the charge density, we'll be telling that, and rho is the volume charge density, means Q is equal to volume integral. Okay, integral V in a volume integral of rho into dV. Here Gauss law in the electrostatics can be written in the integral form. How we are writing in the integral form? Here Q is equal to integral V rho dV. So here Q is there. So integral of closed surface integral D vector dot dA is equal to, replace this Q as integral V rho into dV. This is the Maxwell's equation in the integral form. Okay, in the integral form, how we are writing? Here also integral, and Q is replaced as the integral V rho into dV. This is the Maxwell's equation in the integral form. And the next thing is magnetostatics, Gauss law in the magnetostatics. The magnetic field lines forms the closed continuous loop. See here, it is a closed continuous loop. So this is a, any closed surface will be induction, magnetic induction in any closed surface will be equal to 0. Okay, this is Gauss law for magnetostatics. Then Faraday's law in electrodynamics. See here, what in the Faraday, according to the Faraday's law, whenever there is a change in the magnetic flux lines through the circuit, okay, in the circuit, what is that? Dou phi E by dou T. Okay, this is dynamics. So time varying field dou, for every time varying field we will be writing dou by dou T. Okay, time will be varying for each and every field. When it moves, time will be varying, and the electromotive force is induced in the circuit till the change in the flux continues. So here the magnitude of the induced EMF is proportional to the negative rate of change of magnetic flux. So we will be writing epsilon, what is equal to minus dou phi B by dou T. Okay, So we can write here as closed integral of E vector dot dl vector is equal to minus dou by dou t of surface integral. So line integral here surface integral of B vector dot dA vector. This is your Maxwell's third equation in the integral form. Okay. And the next thing is, before discussing into the Maxwell's fourth equation, we should know some of these topics. What are the topics? Ampere's law in magnetostatics, inconsistency in Ampere's law, that is observed in the year 1864, and displacement current and modified Ampere's law. These four concepts we need to discuss first thing, and after that we are going for Maxwell's fourth equations. First thing, Ampere's law in magnetostatics means, what is the Ampere's law? Gives a relationship between the conduction current flowing in the conducting wire and integrated magnetic field, that is B vector produced around it, any closed loop C. Okay, closed loop is C. See here, the closed loop is C, B vector, and what is the distance is R. Okay, from the origin the distance is R to the point to the origin. What is that? Line integral B vector, closed line integral B vector dot dl vector is equal to mu into I enclosed, total current enclosed. Okay, and this is Ampere's law in magnetostatics. And next is inconsistency in Ampere's law of magnetostatics. Here the Ampere's law is valid only for the steady state conditions. Okay, here where the field do not change with time, here it is only valid for the steady state conditions where the field do not vary with time. However, if the field is time varying, means what it will happen, the plates of the capacitor during the charging or discharging, where the cause of the current is changing the electric field. Okay, and here we are having, considering the parallel plate capacitor and being charged by the battery. Here we are showing this capacitor. Okay, two parallel plate capacitor being charged by the battery. In the process of charging up the capacitor, the conduction current I flows. The conduction current I flows in the wire, and charge Q is supplied on the plates at the steady rate. Okay, while across the gap there is no actual flow of charges. So this is the inconsistency in Ampere's law of magnetostatics. In Ampere magnetostatics, what they have told, the closed integral of, what is that, closed integral line integral of B vector dot dl vector is equal to mu into I enclosed. This is valid only for the static conditions. Okay, not for the time varying field. In the time varying field, the field will be varying with respect to time. Okay, so the next thing, however, this law fails for the time varying field. So here we are having plates of the capacitor, that is charging or discharging, where the cause of the current is changing the electric field. So how it changed the electric field? The parallel plate capacitor, we have two parallel plate capacitor charged by the battery. In the process of charging up, what is flowing? The conduction current is flowing. Conduction current I is flowing in the wire, and the charge Q is supplied on the plates. Okay, the charge Q is supplied on the plates, that is steady rate, while across the gap there is no actual flow of charges. So the next thing, this is conduction current, and next thing is displacement current. What is the term displacement current? Here the Maxwell realized the need to modify the Ampere's law and introduced the concept of the displacement current. He introduced a new concept, that is displacement current. Here Maxwell, what is that, he postulated during the process of charging and discharging of the capacitor, and it will changing the electric field within the gap between the plates. This electric field will be changing. Okay, the two parallel plate capacitor were charging through the battery. So at that time IC, the conduction current will be flowing and the charge will be produced. Okay, here the electric field will be changing. The electric field while the gap between the plates of the capacitor is equivalent to the current, that is called as displacement current. That current, electric field, will be equivalent to the current. That current is called as a displacement current. This cause of displacement is changing the electric field. This is the cause of displacement current, means it is changing the electric field. What is ID? Is the displacement current. Okay, wow. I is the current, D is the displacement. So we are writing it as I suffix D, that is the displacement current. That is equal to epsilon into dou E by dou T amperes. Okay. ID dou D by dou T amperes. So displacement current density is JD. Always the current density will be mentioned as J vector. Here JD vector, that is equal to dou into D vector, dou D vector by dou T. It flows in the circuit as long as the electric field is changing. Okay, yeah, displacement current will flow as long as the electric field is changing. So now modified Ampere's law in electrodynamics. So now how the Ampere's law will be modified. The question may be like this: Maxwell's fourth equation. They won't ask you as a direct questions. They will ask you as a modified Ampere's law in electrodynamics, or the inconsistency. Explain the inconsistency of Ampere's law. Okay, the questions may be in a different way. So you have to understand what to write and how to write. Okay, these are all the things to write. Modified Ampere's law means it is not only the current in the conductor that produces the magnetic field, but the changing the electric field can also produce a magnetic field. Whenever we are changing the electric field, it can also produce the magnetic field. That is the new Ampere's law. Okay, this leads to modified Ampere's law. So we are writing this closed integral line integral B vector dot dl vector is equal to mu into IC plus ID. What is IC? In conduction current, and ID is your displacement current. IC plus ID, where IC is your conduction current, flows in the conducting wire due to the moving charges, while ID is the displacement current that is flowing between the plates of the capacitor. Okay, that is the cause of which the time varying electric field. So we are writing ID is equal to epsilon into dou E by dou T into A, that is equal to dou D by dou T. E, epsilon into E vector, how we can write D vector? D vector is equal to epsilon E. We all know this. So always you should keep remember this. D is equal to epsilon E and B is equal to mu into H. Always remember these two terms. Okay, and dou D vector by dou T into A amperes. Okay. So next is displacement current produces the same magnetic effects as the conduction current through the cause of their origin is different, though the cause of their origin is different. So here we are writing mu into IC plus dou D by dou T into dou D by dou T amperes. JC vector is represents the conduction current density and JD is the displacement current density. So we can write this as integral closed integral line integral H vector dot DL vector is equal to surface integral of JC plus JD vector dot DA vector. Okay, and here JD is equal to dou D by dou T. This is the Maxwell's fourth equation in an integral form. Okay, now we are going for summary of the Maxwell's equations. In the summary means here the Maxwell's equations will be having 4 equations. The first equation is Gauss law in the electrostatics. Gauss law in the electrostatics will be having surface integral, closed surface integral d vector dot dA vector is equal to volume integral of rho into dV, that is in the integral form, and del dot D is equal to rho, that is in the differential form. Okay, well, we are applying, we are to transform into differential form. What we are doing, applying the divergence theorem. We are applying the divergence theorem. Del dot D is equal to rho, and that is the differential form. And the next thing is magnetostatics. First law is in the Gauss law in electrostatics. Second law is Gauss law in magnetostatics. Gauss law in the magnetostatics means B vector dot dA vector is equal to 0 for the integral form. And to transform into differential form, what we are doing, applying the divergence theorem. So del dot B is equal to 0. Okay, and it signifies that magnetic monopoles do not exist. Okay, then third law is Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. This third law, closed integral E vector dot dl is equal to minus dou by dou t B vector dot dA. That is the integral form. And applying Stokes theorem, here we are applying Stokes theorem, del cross E vector is equal to minus dou B by dou t. That is the differential form of the third equation. And then fourth equation, that is the modified Ampere's law, that is h dot dl is equal to surface integral of jc plus dou d by dou t dot dA is the integral form. And the differential form, we are applying Stokes theorem on LHS, del cross h vector equal to jc vector plus dou d by dou t. This is the differential form. Okay, wow. Magnetic field intensity is h vector, magnetic flux density is electric flux density is d vector. This two, it is relating this modified Ampere's law will relate these two things, magnetic field strength h vector and electric flux density is d vector. Okay, wow. They may ask you like this, the law which relates this h vector and d vector. What is this law? H vector is the magnetic field strength and d vector is the electric flux density. These two will be relating together. Which law? You have to think and you have to write modified Ampere's law. In the modified Ampere's law, it states that it relates the magnetic field strength and the electric flux density d vector. So next thing is the applications of electrostatics. Here the electrostatics, we are going to find out the electric field due to the infinite line charge, and the electric field due to the circular ring, and the electric field due to the sheet of charge. Okay, these are all the three applications I have taken. And the first application is in electric field due to infinite line charge. Infinite line charge means we are taking the infinite line. Okay, we are considering the infinite line, and that is in the z axis, and it extends from minus infinity to plus infinity, and we are taking the line of charge density, that is rho l, having the line charge density rho l. And we are taking the small portion of the that is dl, differential length of that particular line. Okay, by infinite line charge, we are taking a small portion of differential length dl vector. Okay, dl we are taking, and from the origin we are giving a point p, separate point p. At that particular point p, you see here, see here, at this particular point P, we are going to find out the electric field intensity. Okay, and see here, this is the infinite line. It is in the z axis, and it is from minus infinity to plus infinity. And here we are taking the differential length dl. Okay, along the line, infinite line itself, we are taking the differential length dl. And here we are taking the point P. At this point P, we are going to find out the electric field intensity. So what is the distance between the origin and the point P is r. Okay, and from the point P to the differential length dl, it is the different distance is capital R. Okay, and the angle is theta. The unit normal vector is ar vector. Okay, and here is radial vector is ar vector. And so here the dl, what is the coordinates? 0 comma 0 comma z. Okay, x direction, y direction, and z direction. Only the line, it will be, line is in the z direction, z axis only. So we are taking 0 comma 0 comma z. So see the next thing, dq, it is a charge, differential charge. Dq is equal to, how we can write, rho l into dl. It is a line charge density, so we are taking rho l into dl. So here rho l into dz, it is along the z direction, so we are taking rho l into dz. Here the coordinates of the dq are, coordinates of the dq, we know that 0 comma 0 comma z, and while the coordinates of the point p are 0 comma r comma 0. All of you are giving the your doubts in the chat box. After finishing my session, I will give you the answers. Okay, so please wait, just some 4 to 10 slides will be remaining, and after finishing this I will come to your questions. The coordinates of dq 0 comma 0 comma z, and while the coordinates of the point p are 0 comma r comma 0. So see here in the previous diagram, what is the point P? The point P, it is the distance r from the origin. So we are taking it is along the y, DEY. So in the y direction alone, we will be having r 0, r, 0. So x direction is the direction 0, y direction alone the point coordinates is r, and hence the distance vector. How the distance vector is written? How the distance vector can be written? R vector is equal to rp minus rdl, that is we can write this as r into ay vector. So see here these two distance vector, r into ay vector minus z into az vector. So here minus z into az means it will be in the opposite direction. So we are writing in the direction will be flowing in the opposite direction. So we are writing minus z into az, minus z into az. Yes, see here. Modulus of r vector is equal to, we are writing root of r square plus z square. So how we are writing ar vector? Ar vector is equal to unit normal vector. We always know this formula, r vector divided by modulus of r vector. So we are writing this ray minus z az divided by root of r square plus z square. So what is dE vector? dE vector is equal to dq by 4 pi epsilon naught r squared into ar vector. So how we can write this dq? dq we know that rho l into dz. So substitute dq rho l into dz. Then 4 pi epsilon naught, 4 pi epsilon naught. What is r squared? R squared we know that root of r squared plus z squared. Root of r squared plus z squared the whole square. Okay, that is r squared. And what is ar vector? Ar vector is this thing, r into ay minus z az vector divided by this equation number 2. Substitute this ar vector. Okay, well, that is your third equation. And next thing, here the equation of dE can be written by eliminating az. Here az component is eliminated, and so here we are writing only ray. Okay, that is very small. Az component will be very small, so we are eliminating the az. So ray divided by root of r square plus z square. And now by integrating dE vector over the z axis from minus infinity to only differentiation we are doing. Z is equal to r tan theta, dz is equal to r secant square theta d theta. So here r is not the variable of integration. So what we are doing, z is equal to, for z is equal to minus infinity, for z equal to plus infinity. What is theta? Theta value tan inverse of minus infinity, tan inverse of plus infinity, that is minus 90 degree plus 90 degree. So we are taking theta equal to minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2, and we are substituting all those things. Okay, va? And substituting, and after integration you will be getting the answers. What is the answers? Rho l by 2 pi epsilon naught r into ay vector and volt by meter. Okay, this is your equation which is specifically in the Cartesian system. Okay, and ay is the unit vector along the distance r, and which is perpendicular distance for the line charge, perpendicular distance of the point P and from the line charge. Thus, in general, what we can tell this is ay vector is equal to ar vector. So the result of E vector, how we can obtain this R vector? Same thing, you write this same thing, and instead of this AY, we will be writing AR vector volt per meter. And R is the perpendicular distance of the point P from the line charge, and AR vector is the unit vector in the direction of perpendicular distance of point from the line charge. Okay, and the next thing is charged circular ring, electric field due to charged Amma, please, all the members, you please remember this equation. Okay, well, this equation and this equation, final equation, you should be very clear. Then only you can solve the problems also. For the problems, you need to substitute these all the things. Rho L, what is rho L? Is the line charge density, and 2 pi epsilon naught. What is the epsilon naught value? What is R? What is R given? What is AR value given? Okay, all the things you need to keep it in your mind. Then only you can write. And next, electric field due to charged circular ring. Yes, charged circular ring. Here we are considering the yes, see here you are considering the charged circular ring of center point as O, origin O, and here we are taking a particular point P along the Z axis. At this particular point P, E vector to be find out, electric field is to be find out. And what is the here in the circular ring, we will be taking the differential length, a small differential length we are considering, and from that differential length to the origin, the radius is R. Okay, the distance is R. So here the radius of the circular ring, that is R. Here the line charge density is rho L. Okay, circular ring having the line charge density rho L. And what is the distance from the origin to the point P? Z. Okay, this is the AR vector is the unit normal vector, and R vector is from the DL to the point P. Okay, and the next thing, the differential length DL. So here charge on it is dq. So dq, how we can write? Rho L into dl. It is a line charge density, right? Rho L into dl. So de vector is equal to, how we can write? Rho L dl by 4 pi epsilon naught into r squared AR vector. This is actually from these equations. What is that? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into r squared. The same way here we are writing rho L into dl by 4 pi epsilon naught into r squared AR vector, where r is the, what is r? The distance of point P from the dl, and we are considering the cylindrical coordinate system. Here for dl we are moving in the phi direction. Okay, here where dl is equal to r into d phi. So we are writing dl is equal to, only thing the difference is here, see here, this is the cylindrical coordinate system we are considering, and dl is equal to r d phi. There we are not considering the cylindrical coordinate system, so dl is equal to என்ன பண்ணோம், dz ன்னு எடுத்துக்கிட்டோம், only dz. So here r d phi, r squared is equal to r squared plus z squared. Then what is given here? Here we are going to find out this r vector component. This r vector can be found out by two components in the cylindrical system. There are two components are, what is that? The distance r in the direction of minus AR vector. Okay, the distance r. Okay, the distance is r, that is from the minus AR vector. Why it is minus? It is flowing inward. Okay, the current is, electric field is flowing inwards. So we are writing minus r into AR vector, minus AR vector, and the distance z in the direction of AZ. Distance z in the direction of AZ vector. So minus RAR plus ZAZ, that is your component R vector. Okay, R vector as a cylindrical coordinate systems. We are here, R vector comprises of two components. One is AR vector and AZ vector. AR vector it is flowing inwards to the origin. Okay, so we are writing minus R into minus AR. So here it is plus flowing outward, so plus ZAZ. So see here, next thing, yes, R vector is equal to root of r squared plus z squared, that is equal to, what is that? Minus r squared plus z squared, that is root of r squared plus z squared. Then next, AR vector, we are finding out this AR vector and DE vector, we are writing all these equations the same way previously we have done, right? The same way we are doing the DE vector, and the radial components of E vector at the point P will be symmetrically placed in the plane parallel to XY plane and is going to cancel each other. So what is the next thing, final thing? AR component will not come. So neglecting the AR component from the DE vector, you will be writing this whole thing, and we are neglecting the AR and we are putting ZAZ. Okay, and this is your next DE vector. We are writing the same thing. Yes, see here DE vector, only Z component will be there, and after integration you will be getting E vector. E vector is equal to rho L into RZ by 2 by 2 into epsilon naught R square plus Z square to the power 3 by 2 AZ. Okay, this is the whole term for the circular ring. Okay, charged circular ring, the electric field due to the charged circular ring. This is the equation you have to remember. Next, infinite electric field due to infinite sheet of charge. Yes, infinite sheet of charge. We will be having the sheet, okay, along the Z axis. What is this rho? Yes, here surface charge density, and it is placed in the XY plane. Okay, sorry, the sheet will be placed in the XY plane. And what is the point P? The point P, from the point, at that point P, we are going to find out the electric field E. Okay, and rho s is the surface charge density, ds is a differential surface area, and dq is a differential charge. Okay, so the next thing what we are writing, dq is equal to rho s into ds, that is surface charge density. So we are writing rho s into ds. So ds, how we can write ds? It is the cylindrical coordinate system, so we are writing r into dr into d phi. Correct? Okay, r into dr into d phi. So we are writing dq is by 4 pi epsilon naught r square ar vector. So substitute here dq. dq what is? Rho s r dr d phi. So substitute all those things. 4 pi epsilon naught r square, here ar vector. So here what is the component? R vector. R vector, we are going to find out the components. The two components will be there. The same way r and z component minus rar plus zaz. The same way, okay, as previously we have done. And ar vector we are found out, and substitute this ar vector to here. Okay, the same ar vector. And in the next slide, see here, this is our important thing, and infinite sheet in the xy plane. Here r varies from 0 to infinity, and while phi varies from 0 to 2 pi. This is the only thing you have to remember. So integral 0 to 2 pi, phi is equal to 0 to 2 pi, and r varies from 0 to infinity. Here there is a symmetry about z axis, so all the radial direction E is going to cancel each other. So all the points will be symmetrical, so it will be cancel each other. So we will not having any radial component. Okay, so R component will not be there, only Z component will be there. So we are integrating DE vector. There is no need to consider AR vector component. If it is considered after the integration procedure, it will be mathematically cancelled. If you are considered also, there will be no problem, but mathematically finally we will get cancel each other. Okay, so the final equation is, so what is the final equation? E vector is equal to rho s by 2 into epsilon naught into an vector. Here az vector is generalized as an vector. Okay, az vector is generalized as an vector volt per meter. An vector volt per meter, and an vector is the direction normal to the surface charge and points below the xy plane. Okay, if it is an vector is equal to minus az vector, and hence we can write this E vector is equal to minus. So here minus in this also minus rho s by 2 pi epsilon naught into az volt per meter. Okay, this az can be normalized as an also for the points below xy plane. Above xy plane means that is positive, and below xy plane means it will come as negative. Okay, And the overview, what are the things we have seen is, first thing is boundary conditions for the electric field and boundary conditions for the magnetic fields, and what is the next, Maxwell's equations and the four equations, and next applications of electrostatics. The applications, three applications we have completed. Okay, and now I am completing my session. Now I am going for chat box. Thank you for your patient listening. And now, what is the physical significance of Maxwell's equation? So why we are going for Maxwell's equation? Without Maxwell's equation, what will happen? Without Maxwell's equations, there will not be any waves. Okay, electromagnetic waves will not be there. So Maxwell, the scientist, he sincerely worked for that. How the electric field is separately and magnetic field is there, how we can combine this electric field, electric circuit and magnetic circuit combined, and he formulated all the results. Okay, the electric fields, magnetic fields, flux density, magnetic flux density, electric flux density, all the things he combined together, and he formed this Maxwell's equation, and this gives you the existence of the electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic waves la mattumna you will be having the electric fields and magnetic fields, both will be exist. Okay, electric field and magnetic field exist in the electromagnetic waves. So even the electromagnetic waves exist, we are having so many waves, light wave, radio waves, gamma rays, visible X-rays, so many rays, electromagnetic radiations will be there. Okay, so we are having so many applications beyond this electromagnetic waves. That is the physical significance of Maxwell's equations. Is it clear, ma? Nishantini?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, next thing is, why magnetostatic is not conservative as the electric field is conservative? Why the magnetostatic is not conservative? Why magnetostatic is not conservative means, from the electric charge itself we can produce the magnetic field. Magnetostatic is your question is not clear, Abhinaya. Can you give me your question? Can you repeat your question, ma, Abhinaya? Consistent or conservative? What is that? Abhinaya, can you give me your questions again? Why magnetostatic is not conservative, ma'am? What is the term conservative you are meaning, you are referring to? Why are Maxwell equation is important? That I have given the answers. Nishantini is okay, right?
Ma'am, you can go to the other questions, ma'am. Maybe she may join Vinaya.
Okay, ma'am, okay. Why the electric field is conservative? Here the electric field, it is produced by the stationary charges. Okay, the magnetic field we are not producing with the stationary. Magnetic forces also we can produce the magnetic field, but also due to this what is that flowing of charges can also produce the magnetic field. Okay, that is the what we are saying, this electric field is conservative. Is it clear, ma? Okay.
Vinaya, you can unmute and talk.
Okay, any other questions, ma?
Ma'am,
Here
it's there in the chat box. Or 5 to 6 questions are there in the chat box, ma'am. Usually the
Ma'am,
students will read out the questions
okay,
after
ma'am.
the
Okay.
session. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Anita?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Anita,
you
you can
can
Ma'am, our
start.
proceed.
next question is, does insulator and dielectric are same? If not, what is the difference, ma'am?
Insulators, it will not conduct. Dielectrics, it will have some value, so it will conduct.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next
Okay.
question is,
Uh,
can electric field exist without magnetic field, ma'am?
if it is in the static field, means the electric field will separately it can exist, and the magnetic field separately will exist. In the electrostatics, electric field will exist, magnetostatics, magnetic field will exist. But in the electromagnetic field, okay, time varying electromagnetic field, that is waves, in that both the electric field and magnetic field should exist. Magnetic field will exist, it will exist. So only we are telling statics and dynamics.
Thank
Is it
you,
clear?
ma'am. Thanks for, yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for answering for all the questions. Thanks for your wonderful session, ma'am. It was very knowledgeable, insightful information on, we learned about boundary conditions on a dielectric conductor of free space. And also we learned Maxwell equations on displacement current. And it was very knowledgeable, ma'am. And this will be enhance our knowledge in EMF. Thank you, ma'am. Now we have, let us be grateful to people who make us knowledgeable and happy. They are the charming gardeners who make our souls blossoms. May I call upon Miss Lalita to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, Lalita.
Thank you, Anita. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Lalita. As all good things come to an end in life, so is the webinar. The respected and most distinguished chief guest, respected principal, our beloved HOD, our professors, and my dear friends, I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose a vote of thanks for today's webinar. Let me first of all giving glory to Almighty God for making today's webinar a resounding success. Now, I would like to thank our speaker, Dr. M. Sivarathina Bala, Associate Professor, Department of ECE in Velamal Institute of Technology, Chennai, for visiting and enlightening us with her knowledge. Today's webinar was full of knowledge and interesting things. It gave deep insights into the topic and also relieved some interesting facts. The point where ma'am told us about the applications and boundary conditions for electromagnetic fields was really informative. I am pretty sure that the precious knowledge that ma'am gave us will definitely help us in our studies and future. Once again, I would like to thank Dr. M. Sivarathina Bala for taking out her time from her busy schedule for enlightening us with the knowledge. Thank you so much, ma'am. I would also like to thank our respected principal, Dr. Sujata Anand ma'am, and my sincere gratitude to our beloved HOD, Dr. L. Nalini Joseph ma'am, for her support and bringing out the speaker for this wonderful session. And my heartfelt thanks to the coordinators, Mr. Mahadevan sir, Mr. Mahendran sir, and Ms. Jasmine ma'am, who helped us with proper guidance and support. And I also want to thank the student committees who really worked hard to make this event successful. I heartily congratulate all the participants for their active participation in this event. No program can become successful with a single person. So, I extend my big thanks to our department. And on behalf of our students coordinators, I thank our department staffs and students for their support. Once again, I thank you everyone who are all gathered here and made this event a successful one. Thanks a lot. Over to you, Anita.
Thank you, Lalita. Ends are not bad things. They just mean that something else is about to begin. And there are many things that do not really end. Anyway, they just begin again in a new way. Ends are not bad, and many ends are not really an ending. Some things are never ending. Our next webinar is Safe Computing on 20th May. Teamwork divides the task and multiplies the success. My hearty thanks to everyone for the great success of the event. Dear participants, the feedback link has been posted in the chat box. Do fill it. Participants, kindly fill the feedback form. It will be posted in the chat box. And you will receive your certificate within 2-3 days.
Very
Stay
good.
safe, stay home, live happy. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, students and all the faculty coordinators. And I sincerely thank Dr. Sivaratana Bala for taking our students in both in electromagnetic field. Okay, ma'am, your topic was very, very nice and so highly technical. For me, it's after 30 years, ma'am. It's nostalgically came our HOD who took this subject, and we all will be pin drop silence listening to him. Except listening to him and taking the notes, we will not be wandering anywhere or in mentally, physically. So your session made me so nostalgic and so informative and very knowledgeable. Thanks a lot, madam, for
Thank you, ma'am.
accepting our invitation. Really, your session was very nice, and students would have definitely benefited. Really, we'll appreciate one or two sessions more in the coming semesters also. We'll keep in touch with you, ma'am.
Thank you so
Definitely,
much, ma'am, for giving
you
me
are.
this opportunity.
Yeah, sure, sure. Definitely, people like you should come and enlighten our students so that they also will get different speakers, different approach, different perspective. Will take the students to a different heights because we are same teachers, same thing. That lethargic may be there, but when it comes from a different person, different experts, it will give a different dimension to the subject, madam. That is what I feel. So really, thanks deep from my heart. And once again, I thank you, madam. Thanks a lot, madam.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Okay, I thank all the students who did it. Ma'am, this is the full program is um, done by the students, ma'am, right from the prior
Yes,
to mentoring,
yes, ma'am.
everything is
Very
done by
nice. They have
this
coordinated
is what
very nice, ma'am.
because they should have that skill set to present themselves. Whatever we know, that should not be there, right? They should be presentable. They should know how to sell their knowledge. So these skill set, these extra and co-curricular activities will be practiced here, madam. That is the reason.
Thank
Hope you enjoyed it, ma'am.
you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks all the faculty coordinators also for making this program a grand success. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, you can
Thank you,
log
ma'am.
out, madam. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay,
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am.